As I share how I'm using HighLevel and I talk about how my businesses are leveraging different aspects and features of the platform, I've gotten some questions and some pushback and requests for clarification on 2 points. The first one is that people think HighLevel is strictly for agencies or people who want to manage and do work for others and not for individual businesses to purchase on their own and utilize the tool for their own business without leveraging it for clients in any way. I'm going to debunk that and show you why that's simply not true. And the other question slash objection that I'm getting is, isn't HighLevel that tool that mostly just fake gurus and affiliate schemers and people that aren't actually running a business use? Isn't it just kind of like, they don't go as far as to say like a scam, but they go as far as to say it's just a platform fake gurus are pushing and there's really no true real value. Why would I use that tool? So my goal in this video is to show you that the platform is not only legitimate, which I think I've done over the course of dozens and dozens of videos on my channel, which I'll be linking playlists down below in the description for you to watch. But I do want to walk through the platform and its features so that you can watch this video and decide for yourself if there is something legitimate here. And more importantly, because let's just assume the product is completely legitimate and there's lots of useful use cases in there, okay? I want you to watch this video, maybe some of the other ones that I link in the description, and decide for yourself, does this look like a tool that would be right for my business? What is the use case? What perhaps could I replace? What could I save money on by using HighLevel instead? So this is going to be a casual walk through the platform as I showcase different features, why I think they can replace other tools that you're using, other things that you're possibly doing in your business, and why it is a tool that businesses themselves and not just agencies can utilize to their benefit. I think we'll be able to tackle both of those objections at the same time as I walk through the platform and I showcase to you the different features, how I'm using them, and things that they can replace. So right off the bat here, you'll see that I am in my Convology sub-account. HighLevel does function as an agency or parent or master account with subordinate or child accounts underneath it. Depending on the plan that you're on, if you're on the $97 plan at HighLevel, you're going to get 3 sub-accounts. You can use one of those for your business. You can use all 3. You might have 3 different brands. I know that I sure do. So you can have those under one of your $97 a month accounts. If you upgrade to the $297 plan, you can have unlimited sub-accounts. The same is true with the $497 plan. The $497 plan unlocks a couple of additional features, things like dashboards and the ability to do a couple of things with the API. But most importantly, the $497 plan unlocks the SaaS configurator. I have an entire video about that. That is geared towards agencies. So if you're just an individual business and you just want to use HighLevel for yourself, you probably don't need anything more than the $97 a month plan unless you needed additional dashboard reporting, some API stuff. At that point, you'll just know that you need to upgrade and it'll be obvious to you, but feel free to start at the 97 plan. All right, I'm swapping over to my test business here so that I don't have to worry about blurring anything out for real people data here. Now, as I walk through the features here, you're going to need to consider your own business and how these features fit into it. I'm going to talk broadly about it. I might make some references to local businesses or digital businesses. You're just going to have to put yourself into the equation and decide if these features are right for you. The first place I want to get started is under the contacts section. The contacts section is truly the CRM or the heart of the CRM where all of your customer data is stored. You can create lists, you can manage tagging, you can do imports, exports, all sorts of filtering. It's a great CRM. When you click into an individual contact, you'll have all the information, all the different fields and sections and custom fields, and you'll see tags and automations and all sorts of that data on the left panel. In the center, this is like the communication channel. Any emails or messages you've sent will appear here in the center. You can directly SMS, WhatsApp, or email from here directly one-on-one to each of your contacts. And on the right-hand side, we'll have things like activity. What did they buy? Where did they come from? What did they do within your HighLevel ecosystem or through your Facebook ads or whatever that might be? This has fantastic attribution. So if you've ever thought in your business, I really want to understand where my customers are coming from, what they're doing and how they're doing it, the activity section is exactly what you need. Now, it has additional CRM-like features, like you can keep track of tasks, you can make notes, you can set appointments, you can upload documents, you or your client, you can keep track of all payments that they've made, any active subscriptions that they have. And this kind of segues us to what we'll talk about in a few minutes about the complete payment integration systems and funnels inside of HighLevel. And so when you combine all these things together, you have a very robust CRM and contact system inside of your HighLevel account. It's great for digital businesses like mine, where I'm selling courses or access to my membership. I want to keep track of who's been tagged what. I want to be able to segment that list and reach out to only certain groups at a time. All of that is easy and made possible here. Now, the opportunities pipeline is both simple and enormously powerful and robust and complex. On the surface level, we have a leads pipeline similar to like a Pipedrive or a Salesforce or any Kanban board, where you'd be able to put in cards and drag them to different columns based on the status that they're in, almost like a Trello board or things like that. So essentially, you can add an opportunity and you'll select a contact and you'll adjust any of the details here. And if you have custom fields on the left, you can adjust those. Now, with an opportunity inside of your pipeline, you can drag and drop that user into various different columns. And at the most simple level, I have local businesses that use this to track everything from inventory management to customer service tickets to a true sales pipeline, where they'll have a leads pipeline. They'll maybe create a pipeline per user, or everyone will share one pipeline. And I've also utilized this for complete lead management, which is, I think, the more traditional use case for a pipeline like this. So while you can do all of this manually, the real power comes from automating how leads get put into this pipeline and what happens when you drag and drop them into different stages of the pipeline, or automate what qualifies them to automatically be moved into different stages. So for example, you can automate through a form in HighLevel or an external form with a webhook that if somebody fills out a form on your website, it creates them in the new leads column. And you or your staff come in, you call them on the phone, see if they're a great fit. And if maybe they didn't make contact with you, you could drag them into the contacted column. And maybe that initiates an automatic email follow-up that says, hey, we tried to reach out to you. Or maybe it sends a text message to the contact. Now, maybe you've built an automation that if somebody is in your pipeline and they go to your calendar and they book an appointment, it automatically moves them there. This is a great tool for you to use to track leads, and it's a great way for you as a local business, perhaps a doctor's office or an accounting firm or tax preparer or any number of different types of businesses like sales or insurance, for you to really keep track of your leads and to automate the follow-up and interaction. Now, taking it a step further, sky's the limit with opportunity pipelines. Behind the scenes, I've created complex automations that will leverage these columns to track the stage of a customer journey or the stage of a value ladder. So for example, these don't have to be sales statuses. These could be what products have people bought. And if somebody's in a certain stage in the pipeline, only send them emails that would move them further up the value ladder or to the right in the pipeline. There's so much opportunity here, no pun intended. Whether you use it manually, you automate it, or you make it into a fully automated system, there's just a lot of value here. I spent a lot of time talking about this because it's very applicable to individual businesses who need to manage their leads. Whether you're brick and mortar or digital, if you do a lot of client work, there's a lot of value here. Okay, now I want to go to the marketing tab, and I'm going to spend just a little bit of time on these. I don't want to dive too deep into them. This is more to show you so you can get a sense for this. But under the marketing tab, this is where we have things like the social media planner. This is a great alternative to something like Agorapulse or HootSuite or any of those social tools that schedule and allow you to manage all of your social media from one place. You can connect all of your different channels here and manage everything from your HighLevel account. So that's one thing you could potentially cancel. Now under emails, think of this as your email marketing tool. This replaces your kit.com, your active campaigns, your MailerLites, your MailChimps, right? This does all of that. You can create email campaigns. You can create templates to reuse. There's a design editor, just like any other email tool you've used. There's a code editor or a plain text email builder. It's a fully functioning email builder with the ability to drop in all sorts of elements and tools. If you've used any email builder, you'll feel right at home. Now, for those wondering, well, how does HighLevel stack up to something like an ActiveCampaign or Kit.com or MailerLite or any of those tools? How's the sending? How's the deliverability? It's identical. Why? Because in all of those tools, you're creating DNS records that associate your domain, your sending authority, with the tool. You are authenticating your email, whether it's through Amazon SES or through kit.com. You are the one that's setting up the DKIM, DMARC, SPF records. You're setting all that up. Now, you're going to set the exact same things up in HighLevel, and you're going to authenticate your email sending just like you would in any of those other tools. And furthermore, HighLevel has relatively affordable dedicated sending domains. So in those other tools, in many cases, a dedicated domain is not available at all. But if you are a high volume user, you can get one inside of HighLevel. I think the breaking point is like 100,000 emails to make that worth it. But if you're just a normal user like I am, and you're just sending normal emails like you would in a business, there is no difference between HighLevel email and any other enterprise class email tool out on the market. So if you're paying a hefty email bill in like an active campaign, I had a client there spending almost $1,000 a month, they were able to cancel that account, come into HighLevel, where full transparency, you don't pay for the number of contacts that you have in HighLevel. Instead, you pay for your sending. So let's say you had 300 contacts in something like Kit, and you were spending, I don't know, $60 a month or whatever the number might be. If you send to those users, you're paying like 0.0008 cents or $10 per, I don't know, 10,000 emails sent, something like that. The numbers work out to be decimals. In almost every case and almost every client I've worked with, there has been a significant cost savings moving to HighLevel for your email. So bear that in mind as you're evaluating the economics of this decision. Now, there's a lot of other tools under here. I'm going to skim over them quickly. There's countdown timers. Think of this as a deadline funnel replacement. I have videos about that on my channel. There's trigger links. You click on them, things happen. You can fully automate them. I have all of that. I've done some videos on my channel as well. There's a full-blown affiliate program. We'll go into the funnel in a second and talk about payments and products. Here, you have a full-blown affiliate manager. So if you're using something like PartnerStack or another one of those affiliate tools, you don't need to. This handles all of it for you. You have brand boards and the ads manager, which is a little bit more complex than we'll go into here, but essentially you can manage through an API connection all of your ads for Facebook and Google, and I believe LinkedIn now, all within the platform without having to go into the complex, really complicated Facebook account. Or if you're not familiar with Google's interface, you don't have to go into Google Ads anymore. You just do it all here in HighLevel, and they've got templates and easy ways to set everything up. I am using this with a couple of my clients. I really prefer to do it this way. And if you're just a regular old business running ads for yourself, this is an awesome, awesome solution that honestly simplifies it enough that you don't need to pay somebody. That could be a huge cost savings for a lot of businesses. So maybe you're paying $500 to an agency. There's another bill you can cancel. All right, now under the payment section here, this is where we're really ratcheting up the value. So we have invoices and estimates. We have documents and contracts that you can send out for signatures. This is a complete DocuSign replacement. It's a complete Better Proposals replacement or a Panda Docs. All of those can be replaced with HighLevel, and you can fully create your own proposals. I have a whole video on that in my playlist you can check out. Also, here inside of HighLevel, you can fully manage orders and e-commerce. You can do something like a Shopify store, traditional e-commerce, or you can do funnels, which is the next section we'll go into. I think I keep burying that lead, but that's one of the most robust sections. But you can manage all of your subscriptions here inside of HighLevel. Here's some demo ones for you to see. You can manage payment links where you can send somebody a link and it opens up what looks like a Stripe checkout, but it's essentially a HighLevel checkout. All transactions, so you have full accounting all in here. We'll come back to products in a second, but you have coupons, and then there's all sorts of different payment integrations. You can actually integrate with any of them if you have the API for it, and then various settings for notifications and things like that. Now, coming back to products, I have a whole video in my playlist about products inside of HighLevel and all the various different kinds of products that you can create from all the different areas from within HighLevel, whether it be through communities or through funnels or through just creating a product here and selling it. All of it lives here under the products tab where you can go into any of your products and you can essentially create a product that will sync with, let's say you're using Stripe. That's probably the best integration. It'll create your products in Stripe for you. It'll manage all of that. Your subscriptions go in Stripe. They don't get managed by HighLevel, which is nice because in some tools, if you leave that tool, you don't get to bring the subscriptions that you've set up with you. So think of this as like a full e-commerce suite where you can create your products and everything. When we go into the funnels, it's going to make more sense what those things look like. Now let's go ahead and go down to the sites tab. This is where our funnels, websites, our stores, which are like your Shopify e-commerce live. Webinars. This is a soon-to-be full replacement for a tool like a Demio or a Easy Webinar or any of those webinar type tools. Right now, they do evergreen webinars, and I believe, in a couple months here, we're going to have live webinars fully supported inside the platform. But you can create full webinar funnels with full email automations. Everything you would have in other webinar tools can be here in HighLevel. You can create your blog. You can create client portals, and we'll go into that in a second. You have your form builder, which is like any of the WordPress form builder plugins you've ever used, or like a Jot form or something like that. Or was it Woofu Forms is one I used in my agency for many years. Full replacement for that. I can open up one of these real quick and show you. You can build and customize just like you would any drag and drop form builder. All the forms that I use for myself and my clients are inside of HighLevel. You can also build surveys and quizzes and have chat widgets and QR codes. The list really goes on, and I'm not going to dive in much deeper, but if you're using a form plugin, definitely can cancel that. If you've got a survey or a quiz tool, you can definitely consider canceling those. These features aren't the most robust on the market. Like, it's no replacement for a score app, but it is close. So if you're like, well, I could just come close enough and that's good enough for me, then that's another tool you can cancel. All right, now coming into our funnels, I have a lot of videos on funnels, so I'm not going to dive into like how to use them, but essentially this rivals Clickfunnels or any of those really robust funnel building tools where you can build multiple stages of your funnel. You can have checkout pages, you can have confirmation steps, you can assign products to various stages and do upsells and downsells. I have released a video about that as well, which is definitely one that you should check out. But the funnel builder, just like the website builder, is a fully functioning visual builder that gives you the ability to hover over all these different elements, just like you would in any WordPress-based website builder. So you can see here, I've got an icon or an image. I've got some text here. I can edit inline, which is something I really like versus a lot of those tools that make you edit off to the side. You have buttons. Everything you can really think of in a website builder, you can do here. There's a couple things I'm missing, like a little bit more control over some absolute positioning, but then there's some things inside the HighLevel builder that I wish other tools had. So there's going to be some give and take, but for the most part, just about everything that you want is accessible via elements or pre-built sections that they've built for you. You can drop in your forms and surveys, social media icons, countdown timers, anything that you've built. The list goes on. There's so much here that you could use as a website builder. And so the question becomes, Doug, does this or can this replace WordPress for my website? I will say for the strong vast majority, 100% yes. Is this a Webflow alternative? Or if you're really deep into custom coding and you're using bricks for WordPress, are you going to have that same control? No, of course not. This is not meant for the developer, the designer who's digging deep into the code and custom writing JavaScript and writing custom CSS. This isn't that type of tool. This is for the everyday business owner that says, I want a beautiful headline, a background image, a button, a testimonial. I want to be able to have it when you scroll down, you see a pricing table. It's for the normal person like myself that just says, I want to build a website that can grow my business. And you're not concerned with being a designer who's migrating a pixel perfect Figma design into a pixel perfect bricks layout. Like, it's not that type of tool. It's a tool for the everyday business owner or for agencies building websites for their clients. But like I said, individual business owners benefit from this tool greatly because of its simplicity. I have plenty of clients that I work with when I have my tech help calls that say, I need something that I can manage myself so that I don't have to rely on an agency or a third party. And HighLevel gives you that tool at both the funnel level, which is, we're actually in a funnel right now. This looks like a website, but it's actually just a funnel. That leads me to the next thing I'll talk about is that they're really synonymous in terms of the builder. The same builder that you use to build websites is the same builder that you'll use to build your funnel pages, the same builder you'll use to build your store pages for the most part, the same builder for your webinar pages. It's all the same. So it's just one thing to learn to access these different features or products inside of HighLevel. Now, if you are interested in seeing more funnels, websites, and webinars, I highly recommend you watch those videos on my playlist. But for things like stores that I haven't yet shown much in my videos, you can just simply create a store from a template if you wanted to. I can preview this design if I were starting a small little local restaurant. I mean, look at that design. 99% of these types of things is the images anyway, right? But generally speaking, easy to click on a page. There's a checkout. I would change that blue to something else. But you can build a full e-commerce website in here as well. So is that a WooCommerce replacement? Yeah, very possibly. The economics of that decision are what are important to consider. Why? Because WooCommerce, just like Shopify, the more you want to do, the more expensive it gets, with every little thing being nickeled and dimed. Whereas just like most everything inside of HighLevel, there is no additional associated cost for features. There's just usage cost, not on any of these features, but like emails that I already talked about, there's a usage cost there. So if you're deep inside the WooCommerce ecosystem and you're thinking, gosh, this is really adding up on top of my hosting costs, there's no hosting costs at HighLevel. There's no additional feature costs with stores or e-commerce in HighLevel. So it's something to consider if that would affect your business and the economics of your decision. Now, shifting gears, when it comes to AI, this is a pretty ever-changing hot topic. A lot of business owners struggle to know which tool that they should get their hands on or that they should invest in. HighLevel has built all of that into the platform. So you have full voice AI. So you can literally have AI answer the phone and talk to your customers. It's just like any other voice AI tool out there. And conversation AI lets you create chatbots that can literally, in real time, have a conversation with people over an interface and integrate with the rest of the data inside of your HighLevel account. I believe in a few weeks of the time of recording this video, the MCP is coming out. Complicated way of saying the AI is going to be able to access the data within your HighLevel account to really kind of bring the whole thing cohesively together. But here inside of the AI, you can have a knowledge base where you upload documents, you can train the AI, you can have different chatbots for different things. I have members of Convology Plus that are doing things like integrating AI into their communities or their courses, having it help members learn the curriculum or interact with the curriculum in a dynamic way, inputting things and getting outputs from the AI inside of a course. I think that's pretty cool. So I do have some videos on AI, but this really is a fast changing kind of environment. So before I make anything too deep on this, I'm waiting for things to kind of settle just a bit. But suffice it to say, I've used a lot of external tools, and the HighLevel AI is right up there with the rest of them, and something that your everyday business owner like myself, perhaps like you, whether you're a local business or you're a coach or creating courses, this is absolutely everything that you would want to have as well. Now, I want to jump down to the reputation section. This is extremely important to local businesses if you want to get more reviews. Inside of HighLevel, I always say in my agency, HighLevel's setup can help you request, respond, and repurpose all of your reviews. And you can do it all with automation and with AI. So you can send out review requests. You can pull in your reviews from Google, all the other sources. You can embed widgets that showcase all of your testimonials. I've got some there's nothing here to show, which is why it seems so strange. But you can create those like walls of love. You can do all kinds of cool stuff. I use it with a lot of my clients. So we have like a reviews page, and you can get reviews right on the page or showcase all your reviews. Works amazingly. I have a whole video actually on this in my playlist where I walk through how to send email, SMS, how to create follow-up campaigns. You can do WhatsApp. There's review QR code creations. You can basically determine what gets sent in SMS or email pretty much just as good as any other tool out there. So for years, I've used Endorsal. I've used other review tools, and this is just as powerful, if not more powerful, because it is directly connected to your whole CRM and all of your customer data. And lastly, if you're a local business, you can fully integrate with Google Business, your Google Business profile, and completely control the whole thing from in here. Do all your updates, add photos, all that good stuff. Stuff that's kind of becoming more obtuse and harder to use inside Google's actual interface. Now I'm going to go very high level, no pun intended, on this section here. Under memberships, we have the client portal, which is where your clients can go in and you can turn on various things like accessing courses and communities, being able to upload documents. You can build courses. You can literally build communities, an unlimited number of communities, by the way. So I personally, full disclosure, I personally use Circle for my community and my courses. That's a preference thing. I've used it for 5 years. I really like Circle. However, a fully functioning course and community platform is fully included inside of a HighLevel account. So whether you use it or not, it's there. And again, unlimited numbers of communities, unlimited numbers of courses, something that you can fully connect per sub account as well. So you could, in a sense, have multiple different client portals. If you're a small business with a $97 a month plan, you could have 3 different sub accounts and associate different communities to those sub accounts if you wanted to fully white label the customer portal. I've got some clients doing that, which is a pretty cool thing. And now the question becomes, well, HighLevel versus Skool versus Circle. I made a video, I believe I made, yes, this one I made internally for the Convology Plus community, so it's not on my YouTube channel, at least I don't think. But I walked through the different things. They're all fully qualified platforms. They all have their pros and their cons. HighLevel and Skool are the most similar. I think Circle stands out a little bit more. But if you're thinking about Skool and you're wondering if you should pay the $99 a month there or all the other things that you get with HighLevel, the economics of that decision, I've said that a few times now, will come into play here with HighLevel. It's just all included. And features wise, they're almost feature parity. One's going to update 1 month. The next one's going to update and catch up. They're all competing with each other. Calendars, I'm going to touch on very, very briefly. You can fully replace Calendly, Acuity, etc., fully inside of HighLevel. That's another thing you can cancel. Really, really good. They released a new service-based calendar. It's superb inside of automations. So essentially, to not go too complex into this, almost every HighLevel video that I make features the workflow automation builder in some way. Why? Well, because triggers and actions, right? Data comes in via a webhook or a form, or someone gets tagged or goes on a list or goes into an opportunity pipeline. Something triggers something else to happen within your HighLevel account. This is super powerful for you to be able to build automations, particularly with AI and email. For example, someone goes to your AI chat widget, they have a conversation. I need a package delivered. This is actually, I have a client that I've set this up for. I've got a package I need delivered. It's a rush order. Here's the pickup address, the drop-off address. Contact me ASAP. Chatbot deciphers if it's a rush order. Chatbot sends an email internally and an SMS message. Chatbot follows up automatically with the lead, puts them in the opportunity pipeline, which triggers all the other stuff. All of that is built and handled internally inside of HighLevel's workflow automation system. Think of it like an automation builder inside of any email tool, combined with a little bit of Zapier, combined with a little bit of Make, combined with a whole lot of connectivity to all of your data, whereas those third-party tools aren't connected to your data one-to-one. This is your data platform, so it has all of that data. It knows who your contacts are. For example, forms submitted. When a person fills out a form, they're automatically put in your CRM, so a contact already exists. You don't have to say, add contact to HighLevel. It just happens. This was the part of HighLevel that won me over and brought me over to the platform 3 years ago. Okay, so for the sake of time, I rushed through a lot of that. I did some 30,000 foot overviews on some things. I even left some features out. I hope that by at least showing you the platform and what it's capable of doing, tools it might be capable of replacing, you've been able to decide, is this something I'd even be interested in? Is this something that my business would save money using, or unlock features that I was otherwise unable to afford or obtain or didn't know was possible? That's what I hope you got out of this. I hope I also addressed the 2 main concerns that I talked about in the beginning, that is this a platform for a real individual business versus just an agency trying to sell stuff to people? I hope I showed you that as a single business, I stayed in one sub account the whole time. I hope I showed you that you can utilize this as a normal business owner, which is what I did for years for myself, as well as in my agency, right? So I have multiple HighLevel accounts. And I hope I also addressed the concern that, oh, this is just a scam that affiliate gurus and fake gurus are trying to sell people to get affiliate income. Those people exist. My video is not going to disprove their existence. They're kind of a stain on the industry in general. But I think the big reason why they're successful is because HighLevel as a platform is very capable. In fact, it is, in my opinion, the most capable platform. It's not a perfect platform. It will excel at some things and it will just do okay at others. But it's one of those cases where I am almost hesitant to say that the sum is greater than its parts, because each individual part is by itself, in some cases, extremely powerful or beneficial to a business. And lastly, I'll just say that in order to use HighLevel and to get value out of it, you don't have to use every single feature. In my own business, I just released my tech stack video for 2026 in the coming years. I only use email marketing, the automations. I use a little bit of the CRM. I don't use many of the other features in the platform. Why? Because I don't have a Google business profile for Convology. I don't have the need to do social media. I'm just on YouTube. So I don't utilize every feature. I utilize a little bit of the funnels, but I don't build out a whole e-commerce shop, or I don't do a ton of funnel building for Convology in HighLevel because I sell through Circle or my platforms that I'm on. But I sure help a lot of clients do those for their own businesses, whether they be authors or insurance agents. I've seen just about every type of business leverage various features inside of the account. So the decision of whether or not it's worth it economically for you to pay $97 a month to have unlimited communities, a course platform, a CRM, email marketing with cheap use costs, like you can do the economics and decide, wow, my WordPress hosting, my page builder that I'm using, and maybe one or two other plugins literally are the cost of that platform. And then throw in your cost of your email marketing, and suddenly the thing is like radically cheaper. I'll let you do that calculation. It's not right for everybody. There are some people who would not save by switching to HighLevel, but would gain all the features that might unlock potential. Again, that's a decision that I'll leave to you. But I hope that I at least showed you that the platform is a great platform and it is continuing to improve. And it is something that I've gotten a lot of flack for people saying, Doug, you've recently made a lot of videos talking about HighLevel. You're just a shill for the platform. No, I'm a business owner. I run 2 agencies and Convology. I am using this tool to make my life easier, my product, my service better, and to improve the businesses of my clients. I'm not a shill for saying that's why I'm using HighLevel. So if you have any other questions about HighLevel, I encourage you to check out my playlist. I have a lot of videos inside of it. You'll probably find the answers to your questions there, but if you can't, feel free to leave a comment. I'll probably point you to another video that I've made, or if it's something that you need a lot more in-depth help with, I have a full HighLevel course inside of Convology Plus where I teach just normal businesses how to use HighLevel for themselves. You can get that inside of Convology Plus. I do have a link below in the description for that as well.